Hi everyone, morning to you from South Africa, and welcome to this stage 14 betting preview of the Tour de France. It was going to be out last night. Unfortunately, we had power failures, which played a role, but let's get stuck in. Plenty of time before the start of the stage. Right, let's talk first about stage 13 that took place on Friday. Well, in the Tour de France cycling betting, you need to get a bit of good fortune sometimes. I mean, you can sometimes make a lot of brilliant picks and get absolutely nothing. Well, yesterday, Mats Pedersen delivered for me at 14 to 1. And I've got to say, although I saw Pedersen potentially winning the stage, I did not see it happening from the breakaway. I actually thought it was crazy when he was working so hard to get into the break early in the stage. But he rode an absolute masterpiece. Then he broke away from the small select breakaway group of six, and took two men with him, both of which he was able to put away in the sprint. That was Hule and Wright. A brilliant ride by Pedersen, and delivering some nice profits for us there at 14 to 1. The expected small bunch sprint we were looking for with Michael Matthews didn't happen, of course. But anyway, pretty good stage. Nothing to report on the general classification. And let's just quickly have a look at the updated betting there. We've got Vingard at 3 to 10, Pogacar 11 to 4. You get 18 to 1, Thomas and 50 to 1. The balance points vote one at. If you want a 5% return on your money, you'll stick it on him at 1 to 20. The mountains classification is interesting. We've actually got Vingard and Pogacar here as they're the joint favourites on some books. I see here Sunbet 7 to 2, Vingard at 6 to 1, Pogacar. So they are expected to obviously battle it out for some stages in the Pyrenees, and they've actually become now favourites for the King of the Mountains jersey. Louis Meintjes, I can tell you, my 150 to 1 pick is 11 to 1, so he's not without a chance. Team classification, Ineos look unbeatable there, and they also, particularly the way they get riders into the breaks, and of course Jumbo-Visma have one thing on their mind, that is the yellow jersey at the moment. Right, that's that. Let's move on to today's stage. What are we looking for on this Saturday afternoon, where I'll be bouncing between the Open Golf, where I hope Rory McIlroy can sort of steam through into the lead, and also, of course, be watching the rugby tests. Well, we've got a pretty tough stage. I mean, look at this tough start. We've got a Cat 3 climb here that ends with 14 kilometers gone, 7.7 kilometers at 3.9%. So a good chance we get the break going then. What sort of break are we going to get today? You can see the lumpiness of the stage. This is the sort of stage where it's very unlikely that one of the teams is going to actually work the whole day to bring it back for a finish on this final climb, which we'll get to in just a second. So I see a huge competition to get into the break, and quite potentially a very big break going away here. I mean, there's a lot of riders now that are miles out of contention, and someone in 12 or 13 spots, 15 to 19 minutes behind, they're going to be given a bit of leeway to get into the break. So I think we're going to get quite a strong break going away. There's certainly some strong terrain which lends itself to those sort of riders getting into it. We've got a lumpy route, another Cat 3. We've got our sprint, and more climbing and up and down, rolling hills here towards the end. But how about this final climb? 3 kilometers at 10.2%. We've seen this climbed a few times in the Tour, and I'll just bring a profile up of that climb. You'll see here 2 kilometer stretch here of 10.5 and 10.9% gradient. So this is really tough stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different riders who could win this stage, but if you're going to be one of the, let's call it non-climbers, you need to start this climb with a little bit of a start, that's for sure. Interesting to note that the final kilometer in a bit is actually a bit downhill and flat. So if there isn't anyone at the top with a huge lead, there's a good chance we could get a coming together of a few riders. We're certainly not going to get a large bunch sprint here, but I could well see something like yesterday. We had 3 guys going to the line, but I also would probably favor a lone breakaway winner here, someone who's just too strong for the break on the climb and pulls clear to sort of win comfortably. So that's the route. We should be in for a very entertaining stage. As far as the GC battle goes, difficult to see, as I say, anyone really chasing this down. I mean, none of the other teams would do it. Pogacar, the stage suits him so well, you'd be taking him to the seconds. I'm expecting Jumbo-Visma to ride defensively now that they've seen Pogacar just had a bad day the other day and has recovered. And Pogacar himself, he doesn't really have the team to chase this down, and I think he's going to save them for other battles later in the Tour de France. Let's have a look at the stage betting. I've actually pulled you onto the match betting, which I'll get to in just a second. Let's have a look at the stage betting at Sunbet there. And we've got Pogacar 15 to 2 favourite. Obviously, that shows you that the break is favoured, because he'd be a lot shorter in the betting if this was expected to come back together. That being said, I don't know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't throw any money at him, because I just don't see this breakaway failing. Dylan Tien's pretty strong climb at 12-1. He's certainly got a chance. He hasn't looked in the greatest of form, but he did show up the other day in a break, so maybe he can deliver the goods. And Canna as well certainly got the ability to win the stage, although I don't know. I haven't been that convinced of his form since he rode, the other day into that second place in the general classification. But even on that stage, he did fade a bit towards the end. Michael Woods, has he recovered fully from his crash? 14-1. And Thibaut Pinot, he's been a bit disappointing, I think, for guys who've backed him in the break so far. He's 16-1. But let's have a look at my bets, though. I'll just bring them up over here. And I'm spreading the stake around here. I've got half a unit on Schultz at 25-1. Now, Schultz, of course, I had him at 50-1 the other day when he was just pipped by Magnus Cort Nelson. I think this route is going to suit him quite well. He doesn't really he's not really a specialist climber, but he can certainly handle these shorter climbs. And I'm expecting his team to work hard to put him into the break as well. Bob Jungels, 50-1. Difficult to say now whether Bob Jungels is going to be trying to infiltrate the breaks. This final climb might be a little bit stiff for him, but at the end of the day, from a breakaway, there's going to be a large range of riders in there. And the way Jungels is climbing, he must have a chance of finishing it off. Verona, 50-1. He's also been popping up in breakaways. Movistar, absolutely desperate for something in this tour. And I can see him in the break again today. And he may just have the ability to finish it. He probably has to go away solo. He's not really much of a sprinter. But I could see him breaking clear of a breakaway on the final climb. Paulus at 66-1. Yeah, I like this guy. He's quite good in the explosive finishes. He's got a bit of a track record. He's certainly climbing well. He made the break the other day, hanging on to finish fourth behind Chris Froome up the Alpe d'Huez stage. And I think Paulus is a pretty decent runner. He's out of it. I think he's 19 minutes back from a general classification point of view, so shouldn't have any problem being allowed into the break. And Michael Storer, it's going to be interesting to see what tactics the team apply. But Storer, I don't know. Gadu is probably going to have someone left to help him, but this is not a stage where you expect the GC guys to get into trouble. And I guess it just depends which of the riders go. Will Pinot go? I don't know. But Storer, to me, offers perhaps the better value here at 80-1 for the win. Then I've got another bet, and I'm going to bring it up here, and I'm taking it at World Sports Betting. This is their match bets that you can take. And it's interesting because both of these guys are in my staking plans. I'd like to see both of them in the break, make no mistake. But I thought Paulus over Jungels at 16-10. And the reason I'm taking this bet is purely on price. I think they're probably quite evenly matched at the end of the day. But I do feel that Paulus has got more chance of getting into the breakaway than Jungels. Not to say that I don't think Jungels can make the break, but I think of the pair of them, I think Paulus is more likely to be in the break. And on that basis, I'd have to say the 16-10 looks a pretty good price. So 2 units there for me at 16-10. Let's have a quick look before we wrap up at what awaits us on Sunday. And I'll do that preview either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning. But just to mention, if you do enjoy the previews, please hit the like button. It does help the channel out a lot. It improves our rankings. And of course, we want to grow it as much as possible. Let's go to the stage, though, and I'll just pop on to tomorrow's stage. It's 202 kilometers, and I see it's designated as a flat stage, which I must say, I don't know why everything is taking so long at the moment on my. Where is it? I can't even find it. Oh, there we go. This is profile. Okay, so I wouldn't call it dead flat, but certainly not much in the way of climbs. This looks another stage, potentially for the breakaway, 5.1 kilometers, 4.1% to the end. I guess at the end of the day, it's also some of the sprint teams will be looking to keep it together. Anyway, that's it, everyone. Enjoy the Tour de France stage on Saturday. We'll be back late Saturday or early Sunday morning with a stage 15 betting preview.